All right, everybody, away we go. It is Friday, February the 9th of 2018. This is the TRC sales training call. And so before we get started, I'll give you a little preamble as people roll in here. I might sound a little edgy this week, and I'm going to just forewarn you and why, is that I've seen a theme lately of a lot of people looking for some excuse as to why things aren't working for them, whatever it might be. There's a lot of good ones out there, and I mean good ones, good excuses. You know, the economy's up and down, market's tough, rates are going up. There's a lot of good excuses as to why you might not be getting what you want, but none of them are insurmountable. And the number one issue is, are you taking, let's see, it's on the board for all you Facebook Livers, 100% responsibility for the success or lack thereof in your sales book of business, okay? I just want to emphasize this early, and I want to get into it. Are you making excuses even internally? In other words, do you have this negative self-speak that something's going on in your life and your background, that you can't do this? It's the number one problem that you all have, negative self-talk. I have it too. We all struggle with it. It's a challenge. I was just talking to a couple of past clients who are thinking about doing something that fear of embarrassment. In other words, that I go out there and I do something and I'm wrong. I can make an argument it's bigger than the fear of spiders and heights and all these things. The fear of being wrong when you open your mouth and say something in a sales context. My past client that I was just talking to, Derek, he works for a lawn service company. And when somebody goes out there and the client asks tough questions, and all of a sudden it's like our brain just falls out the side of our ears and we can barely speak. So I want to talk about being prepared. And that's got to do with the theme here of 100% responsibility. In training my team this week, one of the biggest challenges that came up was that we're an expanding boutique-sized company, meaning that, yes, at the core of this, I am and always have been, almost from the first year I got in this, a top producer, because I work my face off trying to figure things out. And when you just do that much work, good things happen and sales happen. So I realized very early and often it wasn't that hard to bring things to the top level of production. Now, that was also scary. So again, taking 100% responsibility for working hard is rule number one, all right? But rule number two is leaning in here. And I'm going to say this because I'm going to call out Gail Rossetti's team. This is a gal who's been in this business a long time in a tough marketplace in Palo Alto, Atherton, Los Altos Hills, all these places where some of the greatest wealth in the United States conglomerates around Facebook and Google. And so it's very competitive. And this gal just comes to work every day, and she's been doing it a long time. So if you're on her team today, I'm expecting that there's no more excuses for that team. Okay, in particular, and this is the same for Griffin Realty Group. If you're a Griffin Realty Group member and you're on this here today, you better be speaking up, because it is on you to ask the questions that you have on your mind. And now I know a lot of you have come in here and you're just getting your license. And what I want to say to you is, don't sit there and say, well, I don't know what to ask, or I'm brand new. Those are more excuses. Take 100% responsibility for diving in and say, Danny, if you were brand new and you were sitting in with Gail in her meeting, or I was at a Griffin Realty Group meeting, what questions should I ask? See, it's an excuse to sit still and do nothing. And then worse, what happens is you look around for all of the reasons why nothing's happening other than right there at yourself in the mirror. So again, a little bit edgier today. I'm coming at you today. I want to mix it up. Sales training is only most effective when there's a little bit of roughing this up. Now, I have heard from 2 or 3 people in this sales training constantly. Okay, 5 gold stars to Paul Mahala, which is 2 gals on his team, between Lisa and Leslie. They're in here every single week. Hi, Brandy. So they're in here every single week asking questions. But yet there's over 35 people in the call every week live inside the training. Where are you? You're not taking 100% responsibility for your own personal education. And you know, if you know me, there's one line I drop on all of you. Nobody's coming for you. So let's go to work here. Roll up your sleeves. Stop thinking that the spider's going to bite when you speak up on a public call. It's not going to happen. It's an aggressive but very safe environment. So let's get after it, okay? I'm going to open up the mics. Remember, be tuned in too. Don't be sitting here with cars and phones and everything going in the background. Lean in. Let's get after it, okay? And I want somebody new to speak up. Here we go. Go ahead. We're good. Oh, hot mic. Someone's got a hot mic. Go ahead. Who's up? I better hear from Gail's team real fast.
Morning, everybody.
Yep. Gail, there's the call out.
Yeah. So I have a question. This is Myrna. I'm actually in Gail's team.
All right, Myrna, stepping it up.
Can you hear me okay?
I got you right here. Come on in.
All right. So I'm really excited about getting my license. I am not licensed yet.
Yep.
And I've heard a lot about, how to interact with customers. But how do I put myself, other than just calling, how do I put myself in a situation where I can attract more customers as soon as I, get licensed?
I love it. See, bravo. See, there you go. So you don't even have a license yet, and you asked me exactly the right thing. Because what I'm going to give you is the best answer that I know how. And that is the shortest path between you talking about real estate and somebody who's interested in buying or selling is the place to start. See, everybody, and especially with newbies, the first thing, especially in the digital age, the first thing that you're going to believe is that it's leads, right? We even go back to the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, and we're thinking about the leads. No, it's not the leads. It's actually the conversations, right? So if you're going to get in a conversation with somebody, the question just begs, where are they? And I'm going to bait you in here, and you're in my hot seat. So think for a second.
Okay.
You've been around this business at least a little bit. Where do you think it's easiest to talk to a buyer or seller? Just in, you don't have to be perfect about what you say yet. We're not there, nor ever. But I just want to bring you into what environment would you put yourself into in order to get in conversations with someone that might be interested in buying or selling?
I would think the easiest place would probably be like people that I know, like
okay, good.
Off of Facebook or
okay. See, that's a good start, but hold on. Yep, hold on. Stop. That's not the.
Like I had a perfect example. I had actually somebody come to our house. I'm right now trying to work on getting my cousin's house ready to sell. She's a real estate agent, so I've been kind of leveraging her and picking her brain a little bit. She just got her license maybe like 3 months ago. So we had somebody come to the house and just give out a flyer. And off the top of my head, I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I can do that in my neighborhood as soon as I get my license, just so I can get my face there.
Okay. So now, so now you got to it in part two. I tried to stop you in the beginning because I was going to say, I wanted to freeze that moment where you started and say, stop, don't go to digital yet. See, everybody wants to run to digital because of the world we live in. And obviously here I am digitally. I'm on the phone with everybody. I'm on Facebook Live. So it sounds like I'm baiting you into more digital. And everybody, I went to a conference last couple weeks ago and people saying, oh, direct mail is dead. What? I don't even know what that means. I was just in a listing that I took the other day that was only direct mail. That's how we got it. So don't get fooled by the digital trap, because digital is actually a place where most likely, if you engage somebody in a digital context, especially lead generation, they're most likely very early in the stage. I want you to think for a second physically. I'm going to give you that hint, that word physical. Where could you physically be in front of people that you don't know? You weren't wrong about your sphere of influence. That was fine. But there's too much teaching. Run right to the sphere of influence and start bugging everybody, because they may or may not have context in their lives where they personally are wanting to buy or sell, and they might not know anybody right now that wants to buy or sell. Nothing wrong for a new agent to let people know on digital or with flyers that, hey, I live here. Hey, I'm online and I'm in this business now. Here I am. I've partnered up with Gail Rossetti. There's nothing wrong with that as strategy. But let's think this way. If anybody really, and I get this from salespeople all the time. If anybody really has to go get a check right now in real estate, I want you to think of the word physical. Where physically could you stumble into people right now? Hang on one second. Sorry, someone in Dallas had a hot mic. Hey, guys, I got a couple of hot mics here. Let me just see. Okay. Where physically could you go in a real estate context this weekend, he said, hint, hint, where people would come right by your face and you could engage in a real estate conversation? State the obvious. So hold on, not you. Who was that? You animals, leave her alone. I'm just.
I'm not sure.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. State it. Think balloons. Balloons on the weekend. What do they tell you?
Like parties, you mean?
Balloons on real estate signs.
Open houses?
Thank you. You bailed her out. Okay. You bailed her out. Come on. See, you're not stating the obvious. You see what I'm saying? We're so deep into thinking that it's supposed to be this esoteric, amazingly deep and complicated thing. The number one thing that goes on in real estate all the time is an open house. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, you don't sound convinced.
How am I doing myself in a fit?
All right, well, so hold on. We're not even there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Don't run ahead of me now. Stay slow. Why did you not recognize, for me, the question is, why did you not recognize the obvious? Because we are being convinced that we are already not smart enough and there must be some magical way to get in front of somebody. So the first thing we do is we ignore the obvious. It's like if I had to survive and I had fish and I lived on the dock, I don't think about, well, where am I going to get a boat? I think about, what if I could fish from the side of the lake and catch a fish? So I'm saying, if your hands were tied, you had no money, and you had to be resourceful, okay? Stop thinking about what can't go wrong and start thinking resourcefulness, okay? Number one, the obvious. State it out loud. Have you ever driven through the area that you're going to work in and seen an open house, yes or no?
Yes.
Have you ever seen people going in and out of that house, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you want to work in Gail's general area? What's the name of the area?
Wood City, like Fair Oaks, downtown area.
Okay. So there are open houses there this weekend, presumably, because you have nice weather all the time. Yes or no?
Yes, there is.
Okay. You are going to go into as many of them this weekend as you possibly can as what? An observer.
Okay.
You're going to walk through them. You're going to have, you're going to let people know you're working on your license and you're working with Gail Rossetti so that you can identify yourself as somebody whose interest is more as an agent or an agency about to become. And you're going to walk through there and you're going to observe how things happen. That is the marketplace actually happening physically right in front of your face. You with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
So we're going to get offline and we're going to go physically into the field and we're going to be there. Now, the next question is, have you gone on any broker open house tours when brokers show off their properties to each other? Yes or no?
No, I'm not even sure how to identify those.
Okay. That's what Gail's for, right? Hey guys, hang on. Somebody's got a squeaky mic. Let me just make sure. Somebody's got a Vegas number. There's a little squeaky mic there. So the key here is Gail. Are you with me, by the way? Gail with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Danny.
Okay, Gail. So Gail, are you hearing this?
Yes.
Okay. So you see, we're always so deep into training about something that's very esoteric that we miss the very basics of the marketplace. Let's think Wall Street way back when, okay? Wall Street is actually a physical street in New York. I can only imagine what it was like way back when the trading of physical stock certificates nobody could even fathom what it would look like digitally. So people actually sat down in this marketplace and exchanged value for value. Physically. We've lost touch with that in real estate. We need to get down into the dirty parts of the marketplace, onto the trading floor where things really happen. In our business, the best way to watch that happen, or really the only way, because most of them are one-to-one, is an open house. It is an exaggeration of the marketplace at work. Go in there, be looking at the property, but also be observing as people walk through. What does that agent say? What do they do? How do they do it? How would you do it if it was you? What would you have said differently differently? What strategies has Gail and Danny given you that you would use? And observe it, right? That's how you observe it. Then the next question is, okay, great. I've done that a couple times. Then I went to the broker open house tour. Why do I have you go to that? Because you're able to go through the caravan of 6 or 7 different properties and you can view them and you can engage with other agents who you will be engaging with in a deal. You're learning the flow and the feeling of this place called the market. That's what it is. And you're also beginning to learn the product. This is interesting. They're asking $2 million for this. I just was in another one that is 1.7, looks like a better value. So now you're beginning to make your own distinctions. See, we're not waiting for anybody, right? Nobody's coming for us. So we have to dive into the marketplace. Now, the next thing you should say, you've already said it. Well, where would I get them? I'm going to make you think again. Where could you get an open house to borrow? Nobody helper, just work through this. Where could you borrow an open house as a brand new licensee once you have the license? Where? Fish off the dock again. Don't go crazy on me. Fish off the dock. Closest to you, called Realty Realty, where could you borrow a listing?
From Gail.
Voila. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Gail, do you have any listings currently? Gail, is it somewhere where I could sit in an open house and run that open house? That's it. That's it. I have a new agent on my team who I said, look, he was at another agency for another year and did nothing. I said, look, if you want the fastest path to success, do exactly what I just told you. I told him, get in these open houses and think you're trying to convert in the house. There is nowhere better to convert than in that house because I have eliminated. Now watch where I'm going and why I tried to stop you earlier. Everybody defaults to digital. Everybody defaults to lead. That is most typically, or at least on average, the place that is earliest in any decision-making process. Okay? I'm in the middle of trying to, thinking about buying a different car. So I have been online looking at cars for a good solid 6 months. I wasn't even close to a serious buyer until right now when a particular model came out that I thought was reasonable. Okay? So I was online all that time. So 6 months ago, if you found me online, you were wasting your time unless you were truly and genuinely ready to help me. Okay? So if you needed a sale 6 months ago, I wasn't your guy. Now I'm your guy. So where would you find me? In that context, you better be working the lot that day, and you better see me pull in, and you better run out and qualify me because I'm face to face. I'm physically there. So in every business where there's ultimately a human-to-human decision-making process that happens, we need to be there, not way early. Way early is a good thing to help build a book of business if you understand how it works. If you get a lead and you nurture that lead into prospect, and then that prospect is nurtured with more and deeper information, they ultimately could become a client. But the fastest path for any realtor is to get in a house, be ready with a buyer course, which we give you through Gail, and a seller course, and understand those two core pieces so that when a buyer comes through the open house, you can talk about the benefits of buyer agency if it becomes appropriate. And they don't have a realtor. Same thing if they come in and they have a house to sell. Well, gee, I don't know if you know it, Realty Realty, we have a 7-point strategy. In fact, I have the book with me. So I essentially have opened up a retail store in the context of real estate sales where no such thing really exists. Once upon a time, it was all a bricks and mortar business where you would walk down Main Street, USA, Canada, wherever you are, and you would walk in and ask for a list of properties. It was very physical. Well, the problem is digital has eliminated that physicality, so now we have to recreate it. So where do we recreate it best? In an open house. Now, that's just an example. I'm going to go one more for you, and then I'm going to open it up for more questions from rookies, and I better hear from everybody, right? Is that when you look at the next thing, you say, okay, we call it low-hanging fruit. And I don't love analogies because sometimes, people, it's just like a little, I don't know what it is. It's a word whisker. It's a quip and nobody explains it. I just gave you the concept of lowest hanging fruit. Hey guys, a little noisy there. So I just gave you a concept of lowest hanging fruit. People walking through an open house. If they're that far along, sometimes, not always, there's a high probability they're serious. Now, of course, you have your tire kickers, your neighbors. I get that. But there's a higher probability of a serious buyer and or somebody who's stalking the competition looking to sell. So you want to be on alert looking for them because they're physically coming to you. How delicious is that? But the whole theme here about taking 100% responsibility is that the next theme is diving over the side of the boat with the knife or diving on the shore with the knife to go fishing. And I'm saying knife because I don't want you to have the technology. I don't want you to defer to that. I want you to go really cave woman-like after the next thing. And that would be what low-hanging fruit, okay? Don't anybody answer this because I want you to see her work through it for all your benefit, okay? What low-hanging fruit, we've already discussed one, the open house, what low-hanging fruit could be there for listings in our marketplace? Just think, where could you have a conversation with somebody or somebodies, there's several types of these, where somebodies are already identifying themselves as somebody who has expressed interest in selling. See, we're not guessing. We're certain in our business that there are people who have already expressed this interest. Who are they?
I would think it'd be like for sale by owner.
Yeah, bingo.
Or,
keep going. Come on.
Keep going. Expires.
Yes. Give me what? Yeah. Awesome. You're done. I'm going to give you 5 gold stars. You're now starting to understand the process for being resourceful and taking 100% responsibility by doing what? What are we doing? We're mastering the obvious. This is an intellectual insecurity always, where we always think there's some amazing holy grail of information that we're supposed to discover in this business, let alone any business, of knowledge. And that's the thing that Gail and Danny have hidden in their basement somewhere. It's nonsense. What great top producers do very well in real estate is master the obvious. And they are not afraid to state that out loud. Because what they know is that all of the competition is not going to be having the work ethic to stick with mastering the obvious. They always want to make it so complex. Oh, well, they just do what anybody could do. Really? Do they? Have they made the distinctions Danny and Gail have made? No. So I'm imploring you, you spend time mastering the obvious about how to do a really good job inside of an open house, talking to buyers and sellers as they reveal themselves to you. And then you do a really good job of figuring out, you want to go door knock anybody? Don't do it randomly. Walk right up to every FSBO door and every expired door and give them something of value that they can take regardless of the outcome in your favor or not. Something valuable to them. So now you have given yourself 3 different opportunities. One is the similar in that the for sale by owner or the expired a little bit different, but same category. So all in, what did we do? 20 minutes? You know exactly where the shortest path to real conversations where you can add value on the buy or sell side. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because it's stupid simple, isn't it? I mean, I'm hoping I'm leaving you relieved. Yeah. I know I'm a little bit fired up because I was fighting.
You are. Yeah. I mean, even the stuff that you were saying, like, to me, even the open house, it seems so logical, but you're right. It's the lack of confidence that made my brain not go to that. And then when you said it, and I almost automatically in my mind, I'm thinking excuses as to why I wouldn't be able to do that because I don't have experience.
Bravo.
The way you explained it and the way to go about doing it, why would I need experience?
Bravo.
But it's because of my lack of confidence right now that it blocks that ability, or it makes me think of excuses rather than think of action.
Are you a smart woman?
I like to think I am.
Darn right you are, right? Because look, in this case, here's the deal, right? Look, what we do in real estate is probably 85% psychology and 15 to 20% execution of the plan. That's what we do. And I think ladies, okay, because Gail called all us dudes out last time. Ladies, you're wired for this. Naturally, you have a more nurturing way naturally, on average. I know that I'm not trying to make an absolute statement, but naturally, you have a way to nurture people. And even if you go to the role of nurturer for a second, default to that. When you feel intellectual insecurity in any situation, all of you, dudes too, defer to nurture, okay? I'll fight on your behalf. Okay, because I'm a tough guy, right? That's what guys think. Or I'll just be there with you. I'll hold your hand, says the lady. If you want those extremes of these stereotypes, whatever you want to use, I'm just saying there's not a human being that can't show and express empathy for another human being who's trying to get through a process. Now, you can't help everybody because they won't accept it or their context is not there. So the insanity that I've always seen in this business is, why in the world are real estate agents just generally canvassing a neighborhood over and over and over randomly in the beginning of their career, especially? I think that's a good thing to maintain a presence once you have, an up and going brand. But in the beginning, you don't have those resources. You don't have that time. You don't have that strategy. What you need to do is go laser focus on who can I identify today that needs my empathy and nurturing. If you just start there, I think the rest of the technical stuff will follow. You think? Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so now, I don't want to leave any of you hanging. What if this works?
And Danny?
Go ahead, Gail. Come on, Gail.
And Danny, with Myrna, she actually purchased Mojo, and she's dialing the actual streets in the neighborhood that she wants to have listings and buyers in.
Yep.
So she was proactive right away, right out of the gate.
Awesome.
Which is another way of doing things as well. Not just open houses, but that's another stream of ways to get clients and customers is by calling.
Well,
I'm not the person that would want to train about going from house to house, but I am definitely into using the dialer and calling neighborhoods and streets that I want to have listings on.
Okay, well, hold on. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I absolutely would send her house to house if she's willing to do that, as long as they were FSBOs and expired houses. I would absolutely do it. And you should train on it, so I'll challenge you on that one. I wouldn't be going... I'm trying to move these folks closest to a conversation face-to-face. And then I'll move backwards.
I'm not saying that she shouldn't do it. I'm saying I'm not doing it.
No, that's fine. But again, you've been at this. I've been at this a long time. And I don't know if you heard me say that. I'll expand it for all my top producers. Once you get your business up and going, there are all sorts of other methodologies that we use, Gail and I and the rest of the mastermind members, to leverage that time. In the beginning, to really get a feeling for what this is like, you want to get face-to-face as quickly as possible. But now, if you want to understand what Gail is saying as far as leverage is concerned, we're going to leverage good lists that we can mail good content to, that we can follow up with good scripting and conversation to identify where potentially there is some possibility, because we get busy. I mean, last year, while I was doing all this coaching and running my brokerage, I still sold 41 sides or was involved in 41 sides. That's a lot of action, right, Myrna? So I don't have a choice. Gail and I actually cannot do as many of the things that you can do physically. And physical presentation is the most effective. Nothing's going to beat kinesthetically being in that place, in that space with another human being. Nothing. Video comes close if you can have a video conference, but it's still not that human connection that people so desire, because ultimately they make a decision on you. So you could be a part of the Griffin Realty Group or Rossetti Realty Group, and we can back you. Like I said to my team the other day, look, you're looking for me to what? You want me to drag you into these conversations? It's not going to happen ever. I can set you up, though, so that when they happen, you're ready. So here I go, because I am going to do that right now, because I'm not going to leave you hanging. What if this goes right? Okay? What if any of this goes right? Now, You pick, buyer or seller. Which one do you want in front of you first? You tell me. You're in an open house. That's where I had you, and in they walk. Who's there?
Buyer.
Okay, buyer? Okay, interesting. Why did you default to a buyer just out of curiosity? That's another psychological thing, just out of curiosity. Like, go to that mindset.
I would assume that there would be more buyers, since I'm at an open house, that I would be talking to.
Awesome.
Than people trying to sell their homes.
Okay, awesome.
Just based on the scenarios.
Good. You gave me good context, but we're going to put a footnote to come back to sellers in a second, okay? Very good context, very good answer given the context you gave me. So now, when they come through the door, just default to empathy and default to nurturing. What would you offer them in your own words, Myrna, as a service to help them? Let's presume I'll set you up with a problem. They come through, they're on their app, their phone, and there's their Zillow app, and they're confused because they're looking at this thing and this thing. The internet's the new problem. Too many choices. You now step in and offer what in your own words?
The ability to walk them through an easy plan to help them find what they're looking for if they give me the opportunity.
Cool. Tell me more. You got the opportunity. Here I am. Tell me more.
So with the Realty Realty team, we have developed a 7 strategic plan that helps find you homes. If you give me the chance to get a little more information of what it is that you're looking for, what's important to you, how quickly you're trying to move, so that I can then pick locations that'll cater to what you're looking for.
Okay, good. Good shot at it. Leslie, you're online, and I don't like what you just wrote, and I love you, so get in here with me, and because I want to talk to you next, because last week it was Leslie in the hot seat going through the same thing. And if you remember, right, so Leslie, oh, she says she's sledding. I hope that's not true. So the point is here, Leslie last week, I asked her to do the same thing. She was in a conversation with a guy at Luxury. Guy says to her, hey, I know every top producer in town. And every top producer in town would kill me if I didn't list with them. Or I said, well, okay, so you talk to the top 10, 9 are going to be disappointed. What about me competing with that person in my plan? So you have to know the plan. You can't you can do all the training in the world, but you better be able to rattle off why you. Say, look, looks like you're going through this the hard way. Now all I'm doing is going through these bullet points that are in the buyer plan in a narrative. And you can have the cheat sheet sitting in the open house with you. You should have infographics with your business card, your name, everything attached to it. So they walk through the open house, and the first thing that you say to them is, look, I know you're doing this on your app, and everybody feels like the app is the right way to do it, but it's actually a pretty difficult process of filtering. And the second part of this is it doesn't appear that you're working with a realtor, so I'm not so sure where the representation is going to be. So let me just tell you, at Realty Realty, we have this 6-point plan for buyers. Number one is we actually represent you, and the good news is it costs you nothing because we get paid from the MLS agreement, right? That's number one. Number two is, I don't know if you've already done this or not, but a big part of searching we find is getting your financing in line. So I'm not so sure, at this moment, whether you're going to pay cash and you know exactly how much cash you want to pay, or you have financing. So if that's not together, I would recommend getting a letter from your bank for proof of funds or getting pre-approved, and I'm happy to help with that. See, once that's all done, it gives you an idea for exactly what the money will buy. Now, somebody like me as your representative, which I just expressed, I can send you all the properties that actually sold, their real sold prices, so you can see what the money you qualified for or you've decided to spend has actually purchased versus just asking prices. So that's really the beginning of refinement of features. Then what we would do together is, once that's all very clear, we go out and tour a few of your favorites so we could begin to really start to talk about what are we looking for? What's a must-have feature and what's not? That refines everything. So by that time, now we've really refined it down to the must-have features, and we can go out and we can write an offer and negotiate. But remember, negotiation is not just some random thing. And I know you think because you're running around without an agent, you're going to save money. Not necessarily so at all. In fact, if you don't have somebody doing a financial analysis of the value of the property, you're buying it blindly like a diamond. Don't do that, I suggest, whether it's with me or anybody else. So that's how we end up negotiating. And then closing this out is a big deal, especially if you have financing or you're coordinating with title and insurance companies. There's a lot going on that has to be coordinated, and that's what we deal with as well, crossing T's and dotting I's. Boom, I'm done. Okay, now again, I've done it a lot. So it comes off relatively quickly. I sped it up because we're on a sales training call. But why don't you all have that conversational, I guess, quip that you can come up with, right? Because you simply haven't sat down and studied a very core piece of content, which makes you professionalized and eliminates the intellectual insecurity. So let's go back and review. Excellent question, Myrna. You came in with all of this intellectual insecurity because you don't even have your license. You asked me the right questions about where. The fastest path for a rookie is where. That's not necessarily the same advice I give a mastermind member because they're thin on time already. They're already doing hundreds of thousands of dollars of business. But for a rookie, the fastest path. And when I can cheat, when I'm working my own book of business, where do you think I am on the weekends? I am also at an open house because I can affect the outcome in that open house faster than anybody else. And I want to hear from myself the feedback. I want to put a deal together because I can talk to my seller in an instant. So I love the raw market. You get me as close as you can to real buyers and sellers, I'm going to affect an outcome. So I don't want you to think that I blow these off. It's the highest and best use of 90 minutes of my time. I'm just telling you that right now. So now we hit that beat. But now when they come through the door, I have my materials that I can give them so that there is something to walk away, so that if they like what I just said, they have some material that is there. Now remember, a key point of an open house is to make sure everybody signs in. This is your client's house. This is your open house. And the rules are sign in. In our sheet, it says, please identify your realtor. If they do not identify a realtor, then it's free game to have a conversation about them. Right? That's the key. So it's this whole process of actually, why are we talking always about starting way back on the internet when we should be working from face to face back to the internet? And my top producers can leverage the internet, but they'll tell you themselves, oftentimes they've made mistakes buying too many leads, wasting too much time. You can ask Laura in my office. I threw a conniption this morning because I'm still buying leads of people in areas and at price ranges I do not cover. So you got to be careful where you're going. Now, let's remember that bookmark I put? What bookmark did I put on our conversation here today? What'd I put? What'd I say? I said I'm coming back to something. What'd I say, Myrna?
Trying to look at the notes. I don't remember.
Myrna, somebody walks through the door. They're one of two kinds.
I remember
Myrna?
About you said,
Myrna, there's only two types of people that could walk through a house. What are they? Go to the obvious again.
Say that again, Danny?
Yeah. When somebody walks through the door, the context that they could have, if there's a good opportunity for us, is one or the other, or they do both. What is it? You just did one. What's the other?
By yourself.
That's right? It. Yeah, see what's crazy? How hard, you're checking your notes. There's that intellectual insecurity that creeps up on us again. It just sucks us away from, it's the fear of embarrassment of saying something wrong. And remember, this is a safe environment. As aggressive as I am here with you, it's because I'm attacking for you your own paradigm that you don't know enough. I'm attacking it, not you. So see the difference. So we're going right at this thing that just cropped up and grabbed you right down again, pulled you right down again. It made you forget the obvious. I'm fishing off the dock, the open house. For what? Either bass or sunfish, okay? Buyers and sellers, that's it. Maybe they're going to do both if I have a glorious day. Maybe I get two on one hook. I don't know. But in they come, and I have to be prepared to only have one of two conversations. I mean, other than the kibitzing with people and being generally nice and representing the seller, It's wonderful if you can express to them how to buy the house you're in. That's the whole point for the seller. Wonderful. But that doesn't always happen. So you just have to be prepared with one of two conversations. Now, it's interesting that the newer the agent, the quicker the default is to learning the buy side, as did I. But now, as your coach and guide, I say the number one fact is that listings are the key to this business. And what I said is why I want you all to get physically in the marketplace is because I want you to see how the business actually works. How many buyers would there be if there were no listings?
None.
Thank you. Zero. If there was nothing to buy, aka inventory, if it was a real zero, there would be zero buyers. So the idea in this business is a lot of us are sitting around waiting for somebody else to create a listing. We're always waiting. All we do is sit here and whine and complain. There's no inventory, Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Yet billions of dollars continue to trade. Yes, on Cape Cod and in Boston, it's some of the lowest inventory we've ever seen. But yet, isn't it crazy? Billions continue to trade. And the reason is, as we sit around waiting for somebody else and not taking 100% responsibility for our own outcome, we miss the fact that we should be desperately trying to create new inventory that we control. So we want to be prepared to have our antennae up, waiting for that opportunity to discuss listings. Always. So for me, yes, it's logical, and you gave me good context, and I think it was right to say, Danny, help me prepare for the buy side first. That's okay, because in the context of open house. But now watch. It doesn't do you much good if you go knock on an expired's door, giving them the home seller course to say, oops, it's my buyer course, right? And that's where you want to be. Right. Because remember, you had to borrow the listing in my scenario from Gail. Why not go get your own? Well, how, Danny? I'm just getting started. Gail gives you, the reason you're with Gail, smart move, by the way, is because she is well studied. And she's part of the mastermind where we have chunked up a home seller course that a fifth grader could read to a home seller. How about that? We're not even making it hard. So it's not like what we say in the home seller course is some complicated thing that you have to study for. Read it. Just read it to them. Right? Go down the pinwheel and say, look, here are the few steps. Here's this one. Here's this one. Just read it, because you would be far better off than most others. So I would say I would start with cheating towards, you have to learn them both, but I would start with learning towards the listing, because I want you to get in your head as a rookie, listings lead the business. Without them, there is no marketplace. Cool?
I like it.
Yeah, hopefully you feel free. And remember what I did. I attacked your paradigm, not you. I can hear an intelligent woman that needs permission to be free. Go be free. Just have this conversation freely with people. You belong in the marketplace. Act it, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Gail, you want to weigh in on that since it's your team? Or you want to call somebody else out? Do I have Pamela? Who else do I have?
Hi, Danny. Yeah, I love it. I love that you shared all that, and I've done the same. I think that talking about the basics and repetition is extremely important, especially when you haven't even got your license. But the fact that you can remember maybe 30 to 40% that you say at one time.
Yep.
That basics are extremely important. And yeah, Pamela, are you on there? Could you share?
Let's see, I had a couple of loud mics early, so I want to make sure I didn't. Let's see, Pamela, is that you? I muted a few mics that were... Yeah, anybody? Pamela? No, Pamela?
How about Chad?
Chad, you there? It's maddening, right? All right, look. Yeah. Okay.
Amazing.
Yep, I know. I don't know.
Thanks, Myrna, for sharing. You got in the hot seat.
Yep.
You did the hard work.
Yep.
And all you're going to do is reap great rewards from that.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I do. I did. I got a lot out of being in the hot seat.
Yeah.
But I mean, Danny, I have another question.
Fire
for
away.
You if,
Fire away.
That's okay.
Yep. Fire away.
Okay. So I'm having this challenge right now, where I've had my, Facebook kind of linked up with my music stuff for a while.
Yep.
And I'm at the point where and I'm still doing my music stuff. But my question is, I don't want to get rid of all my contacts and the people that I know, but now that I'm doing this real estate stuff, I want to have a more professional look.
Yeah, sure.
When buyers do look at my social media.
Sure, cool.
So what's your recommendation?
Yeah, cool. Number one, you start with a page. So, for example, I'm broadcasting live on the Realty Classroom page where in the context of real estate training, that's appropriate. I did happen to share it over to my profile because I have a lot of real estate friends there. That's just the way it was set up. Now, if you go over there, you're going to see the clown side of Danny with some glasses and some crazy hats on. I don't care. That's who I am. You're going to be somebody that sees me on a profile because you friended me up. You're going to see me 100%. But if you want to see me professionally and I want to put that forward as a coach, you're going to see me on the Realty Classroom page. And then after that, you're going to see me on the Griffin Realty Group page where most of the time I'm just documenting what I do. So it all starts with a page, a business page where you would document you. You know what I would do is I would document everything you do as a realtor. Hey, I'm on the broker tour today. There was some beautiful stuff. Check this house out. So you document it. You take pictures. Everything that talks about the lifestyle of the area that you're working on gets documented professionally on that page. Now, you don't share everything over the profile. I still see a lot of people making the mistake that on their Facebook profile, for example, they're just posting house after house. It's wrong. That's just not the way posting. It's not the way it's meant to be. You can do it and they'll kind of be there, but Facebook wants you to be engaging in a personalized way on the profile. That's why they made a separate place for pages, business pages. Make a business page, document things there, and once in a while, share it to the personal, right? So you don't eliminate a lane that you have on your profile. You just set up a new one on the Facebook page. I have 3 different lanes from a business profile. 3. And that's just, those are the lanes I travel in. So just you create one, okay?
Right, and that'll be created once she gets her license. So she has to, according to California Association of Realtors, has to be linked to mine. So it'll be a different page, Myrna.
Yeah.
It will be just your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Lisa.
Yeah,
Lisa.
You get your license, which is going to happen soon, right?
Yeah, cool. Hang on, let's keep rolling here. All right, let's keep rolling, ladies. Lisa Bibby just sent some advice, Myrna, I want to share. She said, delete all your nudie pics, right? So we got to keep it light here. Yeah, but in all kidding aside, she's right. Go in there and clean up anything. You know, I think for a while there, Facebook, you know, we go out, we have some fun, and everybody's, you know, maybe having a little bit too much to drink, and it makes Facebook. Go clean it up. I mean, honestly, clean it up. It's okay. It's really us, and that's what we did. But, you know, clean it up because we live in a new digital reality, and people will vet you. They meet you at open house. They will search you on LinkedIn. They will search you on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, amongst others, but especially the bigs like that. So clean it up and understand that that's the new reality. Hey, Michael Johnson, or whoever that is in Las Vegas, I got a line there. You there? Who is that? Now you just muted me. You had your hand up and then you muted me, whoever that was. All right. Look it. Let's have some fun.
Am I in there now?
There you go. Who's that?
Hi, it's Vanessa. How you doing?
Vanessa. How are you, Vanessa?
Fine. I'm the one that never talks.
Yeah. You felt guilty today.
Yes, I feel guilty, but you know what? I said I'm going to jump in no matter what. I can only learn from a mistake.
That's right. That's it. So what do you got for me?
So, Mike, can you hear me?
I can, perfectly. Go ahead.
Okay, so my problem is, I service 2 different states, Nevada and California.
Yes.
and I'm from California, and I live in both places.
Right.
But I get so much business from California now. I'm just starting to feel confused. I mean, it's like I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
and I need to feel stable.
Yeah, awesome. Where do you want to be?
So
like, what do you really, 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 really want? And I'm going there with you. What do you really want? If I told you today that you could only live and work in one of those places, quick, bang, what's the answer? Give it to me quick. Don't think. What is it? What is it? Say it.
I would say California.
There you go. Okay. I just needed to get it out of you because oftentimes there's that battle with us where people have this crazy opposing set of needs. I first heard Tony Robbins say this, and it really struck me. It's that we are starving for variety, but we are also starving for consistency. So it's really difficult for us to sit still. We all, to a certain extent, because of those two opposing needs, have a case of ADD, right? Where it's, I think I want to be here. I think I want to be there. Now go a little bit deeper. Why are you in two places? Because it becomes very difficult. Even for me, as a broker owner, it was difficult early on. I'm from Boston. I love that city, okay? But I live on the Cape because I have a lot of kids, and this is a lifestyle. So I have these two places where I really, really, really would like to be. So we have a very concerted effort up there, but it turns out that my brother moved home to Charlestown, Massachusetts, which is downtown Boston. So we have real serious coverage there now, and I do the marketing arm of it, okay? So I got what I wanted, but I had to be pragmatic about it. Down here, my personal book of business, let alone the brokerage, is me and Laura. This is what we do. We do this day in and day out. Right? So we work this local market and we're all in. In fact, what we did, Vanessa, was over time, not the brokerage, but for my personal book of business, we have begun to narrow it down to a very particular type of property. And we take our own advice. We fish off the dock like I taught Myrna today. So we're always going to be working from our epicenter and then the contiguous towns. So as long ago, when I was first a rookie, I made these mistakes. That's why I'm sharing them all with you. I don't want you to step in the same bear trap. I said my market was Cape Cod. Well, my goodness gracious, I can get to Boston from the middle of Cape to Boston in a shorter period of time than it would take me to get from one side of the Cape to the other. So the point being is that at some point in time, we have to cut ourselves free of this stretch, right? Now, if your heart is in both places, and it has to be, then you have to make an arrangement like I did. Where you're going to be and where you want to be, just go there. I want you to have what you want to have out of life and then let the business serve you. I don't want the business to chain you down to a place where you don't want to be. I mean, that's the worst kind of fear that there is, that our life is stolen by the idea that we're stable in a business somewhere. Right? I believe that you're all resourceful enough that when pushed up against the wall, you'll make anything work. So let's come back to California and Vegas. Which one? Why are you in both? What's the reason for it?
Well, I'm in Las Vegas because this is where my husband is and this is where he wants to live.
Okay.
I'm in California because I'm from California, and I would say 70% of my business comes from California, people relocating to Vegas.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Berkeley, California, and I'm there every month for about at least a week or more. And I get a lot of my business from California that moves to Vegas.
Okay.
So I was always referring it out. Why not just go ahead and list people's homes there, and then I move them here, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Okay. So, but that's making you feel stretched thinly because you're trying to grab all the money. And what grabbing all the money in California where you're not physically living is hurting your growth of your business in Vegas. Okay. So now I'm hearing.
Oh, so true.
Yeah. So you're right. So now I'm hearing, because nature hates a vacuum. If you stop doing something, meaning it creates this empty space, it fills it with something else, right? So because you're part of this mastermind, you've been hearing a lot of this. I'm loving that you stepped up. Now I know the context. The deal is this, is that all the things I just said to Myrna, see, you probably feel a little bit like a rookie in Vegas itself, right? Because your comfort zone is feeding your Vegas business. So you have to actually technically get a little uncomfortable like a rookie inside of Vegas because you're going to have to do some of those things to establish new business. That's just the fact of the matter. So what I would say is I think you just need to work yourself into Vegas as if you're a rookie by going out there and doing the same things. Can you help an expired listing in Vegas? Yes. Can you help a FSBO? Sure. Can you go borrow an open house from somebody and sit there and meet people in Vegas? Yes. Can you engage fully mentally? I heard it. Well, my husband wants to be here, and this is where he's, stuck, and we're not going anywhere. Good, and just embrace it. Why are we fighting it, right? It doesn't sound like you exactly hate the place. So I think it's more about you embracing Vegas fully and making a softer arrangement over here in California. In other words, I know Marcus is a friend of yours and, whomever, over there, but you start to work a deal with them. And it's exactly what Lisa just said. You have to find a trusted friend and realtor, work out a good referral fee that's in your favor, and that you can still work some of it, but you got to get your mindset that you live in a new place. I think, because I'm more interested in your marriage. How about that?
So true.
Yeah. So you can bring your husband on. Right. Bring your husband on the next call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will do.
Yeah, but it's again.
Thank you, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it, and I get where your mindset is at. It's the fear. It's always fear, isn't it? Like, here we go again. Whether it's a fear of an intellectual insecurity, which is probably what we all suffer from, because there's a part of you that says, well, geez, I don't know if I can do this again here. Okay? I mean, I did it over there and it works and my business comes and they know me and I'm from Berkeley. I get it, but life changed. And that's a good thing. It's good to not always be comfortable because then we're not sitting on the couch eating bonbons. We're actually using our brain. We're expanding. Life is richer. There's more texture to it. But you got to dive over the side of the boat with the knife, darling, out there in Vegas and make yourself happy. And it's not about the fact that your husband decided there and he went there. You love him. You went with him. But now this is a personal battle. Get in the game in Vegas. It's a good market. It's a fun market. Property turns over a lot. Get in that game. That's what I say.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, let's have a round of beat the coach up. How about that? Since I came at you all aggressively today, I want you to throw up on me the biggest objection that you fear or the problem that you face. You make me deal with it, okay? We'll have a little fun here for the last part of this call. What's the biggest thing that you think someone's going to club you over the head with? And any of my folks online, got a bunch of you online. I know, Miller, you'll throw something at me. But somebody come in here. What's the biggest challenge that you think you're going to face or you actually do? I'll take it now. Beat me up.
I got someone who'll do it at 4%.
There you go. See, I knew you or Miller would be the first one to speak up. I love it. Awesome.
That's right.
Yeah. So Lee, is the commission rate the most important thing to you in the process of selling your property?
Well, this guy I got says he'll do everything you're saying you'll do for 4%.
Okay. He actually had a written out plan like this one I've presented to you?
Well, he said he would do it.
Okay, great. I mean, when he says he's going to do it versus putting it in writing, first of all, I just ask that you consider that I'm showing it to you. Here it is. But I get it. I want to also listen to you, Lee. And I hear that the rate seems to be important to you. But let me just go into the marketplace and help you understand something. Now, if I'm ever going to end up in a discounted fee, because that's what this is, there needs to be something that doesn't hurt you in exchange for that, okay? And helps me do it quicker. Because this is not an easy task. Things are just not flying off the shelf here in Maryland. It takes work, it takes marketing, and most importantly, it takes proper communication with the other side. See, what we're doing is we're actually hurting ourselves from the get-go. Because once you take that extra point out of the deal, I now have to discount what I'm offering in the marketplace to other co-brokes who are going to bring me their buyers. And I want to be very clear with you that if somebody sees a house that's similarly priced to yours and they have a bigger fee over there, don't kid yourself for 1 second. Since the average agent only sells 3 properties, they're cheating to the one with the better offer. Where I could have done a better job at using that to at least not lose that buyer And then if I can't get the price, then asking them to discount the commission. Look, if your buyer won't come up, you and I are going to have to take a point off of this. So what I'd like to do is have you and I shoot for the top of the cherry tree, including your price and the commission rate, and see what happens. Now, of course, during negotiation, here's the good news. And if you want something really in writing, I'll write down this commission is negotiable, right? And whatever parameters we want to put around it. But I'm the guy sitting here telling you how the business really works and putting everything in writing. And I don't want to lose this deal. So does that sound like something we can deal with?
Yes.
Thank you for being easy. There's only a few minutes.
You
you must like me today. Either that or you're already having a scotch and I'm not.
Bourbon.
Yeah, exactly.
Andy, this is Andy.
Andy, go.
Group.
Yep, go ahead, brother. Hit it. Hit me.
Yeah. So I am foreseeing a potential issue here in that the client is going to say, I said that I wanted to find a ranch style or rambler style home on the water, and you're not showing me these properties. The problem is the price range I've been given is not going to support that.
Okay, great. So
it's kind of like, how do I start to educate / cushion the blow?
Yeah, perfect. I love the way you said that, Andy. I'm a big fan of yours anyway. You're a good student of this stuff. Evidence is my answer. Okay. Similarly to Lee's.
Okay.
What I was pointing to, but I didn't call it out, was that I would probably also have shown a bunch of luxury properties that sold that offered a 2.5 Apple co-broke fee to show this guy that it's not really standard. I mean, you have to be careful what I say, so I'll bite my tongue. But I might show him some evidence that, because fee offering to the co-broke in his case is a very real problem if it's not where it should be. Right? To be competitive. Let's leave it at that. We're not fixing commissions. I just have to be competitive and smart for my clients too, right? And it's expensive to do all this. So now I come to you and I say same thing, evidence. Say, look, I hear what you want. It's great. Sounds great to me. What I'd like to do is sit with you and let's pull up everything that's sold, S-O-L-D, not for sale, everything that's sold, and let's see what the money bought. Okay? So I would go right to the evidence. That's what's going to cushion the blow, because as he begins to see that nobody else, okay, see, he doesn't want to take your word. The minute we tell people they can't have what they want without showing evidence why, you can't talk at them, oh, that's not going to happen. Oh, that, and I know we're thinking that, but you can't do it like that. We have to have that patience for education and lift them up to be empowered to make the decision themselves. So the whole idea is that I come in and I say, look, I'm going to show you everything that's sold with the parameters that you wanted to get. So, Andy, you're going to have to show them things that sold for a higher price. And they're going to look and say, oh, my gosh, that's it. Yes, but you see, it's about 20, 30, 40, 50 grand more than you were discussing. So we got a little bit of a challenge here. I'm not saying that we can't find a needle in the haystack, but this is everything that's sold in those parameters, and there's only one that was close to what you wanted to spend. What do you think? Is there anything that we could back off of, or do we need to step up in price? Because at that point, with the evidence, they don't have any more choices. It's either step up higher or give up something, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a logical way to approach it. Thank you.
Yeah, super question, though, because I want to keep this sales training always just so pragmatic. We have already the resources to make our case to people. Yeah, give me another one. Punch me again. I'll go a little OT today. What do you got? Some of my rookies. Come on. You know you're scared. Fire.
Okay. This is Andy again.
Go ahead, Andy.
I'm going to speak up. I have another one. I've got an open house across the street from me.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of, going over there this weekend. This is kind of piling on to your earlier conversation today.
Sure.
And the line was cutting in and out, so I don't know if you already touched on this. How do you go in and not appear like you're horning in on the listing agent's potential clients?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that's a good question. So what you're doing is genuinely chatting up the agent as long as they're not busy with those other folks, right? Just say, I just wanted to stop in and preview it. right up front. You give them their business card. You don't do anything that's fishy. Right up front. Hey, I'm here.
Right.
You know, I'm here to just preview it. I'm Andy. Nice to meet you. You know, bubbly, forthright, honest. Just hit them right through the front door. And what you're doing is you don't have to stare at them while they're having a conversation, but you just kind of get a vibe for, you know, the demographic, and you hear what they're saying to people. Most of the people are just really just sitting there chatting up about the features of the property. But what you probably won't see is what I'm teaching you. It's that conversion moment where your gut tells you, there's an opportunity to share my plan. They have a house to sell. Hey, funny thing, you should come to the open house. I got a copy of my home seller plan here. Let me give this to you. You know, take a look at this. And then you can gauge their level of interest in engaging you. So I think what you would do is just, I want you all physically around the marketplace. And then that conversion point is something we work on here where you've created a prospect in your own place by exchanging information. By the way, the upsell, okay, there's an upsell, okay? In other words, you're running around Mr. and Mrs. Buyer on your app. And that's syndicated information, meaning it came from the MLS, went through some web, and ended up on the app. What I could do for you is give you direct access to MLS. Because at my MLS, I can put in more criteria specifically, and there's less interference when it gets there. I mean, I know Seattle's hot. I don't want to oversell the fact that you're not going to get something quickly from an app as you will from here, but you get me for free. Me working for you for free. Paying attention to what you want and making sure you get it directly from the source. So I have your email address. Tell me some of the parameters you like, and I'll upgrade you. That's even better, Andy, because now I have this continuity of a relationship with them. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
thank you.
So beyond just the content, upsell them, because content is a one-off giving unless you can book an appointment. Content that's continuous is that once I have your email, I'll give you what you really want, which is direct source from MLS and then educational emails. Okay? So good stuff. All right. Last call for questions from anybody else. All right. Hearing none. Good job today. Go out and practice this stuff. Thank you, Myrna. Thank you, Andy, Gail, Lee, for hitting me there in the nose in the end. Awesome. Good work, everybody. We'll see you guys on the other side next week. Thanks.